Welcome back. Well, we have Annie McCary here, who's going to give us a third mutual update. Well, welcome. Nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm wonderful, great, and it's so good to be here again.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and giving us the third mutual update. I know you just had a meeting, and so you've got some information for us.
Yes, a lot goes on in the meetings, and it's kind of difficult to give an overview of all of the stuff that goes on.
Right.
So we talked about some of the resolutions, and the Architecture Control and Standards Committee are looking at some of the standards they have in the guidelines for our doors.
Oh.
And the standards haven't been revised for about 4 or 5 years, so there have been some new improvements in the quality of doors and guidelines for doors.
You mean like their front doors?
Like your front door.
Oh, but not the interior doors.
The front door.
The front doors.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right.
And all of this comes under the preview of the Architectural Control and Standards Committee, who meets on a regular basis, and they look at standards and determine if there are some that needs to be revised. And they obviously thought the resolution regarding the doors was a good one to revisit with some new guidelines and some better quality doors.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like yours talking about here is that the doors are front and talk about a swing door of some kind.
Swing door,
okay.
Yes.
All right, interesting. So now we can go into talking about the types of doors, and it looks like there's certain parameters.
Yes, and what the committee has done is they looked at the doors and they added some additional language to include metal doors and other composite materials are also allowed, provided that they meet the current building codes. So they are constantly looking at upgrading based on codes.
Okay, great. So did you want to talk about the type of doors?
Yeah, there are many types of doors. Let's see, I believe the Dutch doors, split doors, double doors, and French doors may be allowed.
That's great. I like those. They're really cool looking. And they also provide some extra airflow.
Yes, and it's good visual a lot of times because we get people moving in and they move into maybe an older model that hasn't been updated. And of course they want to have some modern looking doors.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. And then, what about, and then maybe even glass entry door designs?
Yeah, they may be allowed provided they follow the standards set forth. I can't even say it. Installation as required by current California building codes. Again, they're frequently looking at the building codes.
See, well, yeah, I mean, if you follow the building code, you can be creative. I mean, there are some things that you can do, but they just have to remember that every time they decide, okay, if you want some sort of a design in your glass, you have to make sure you get it approved first,
Absolutely,
right?
You have to have anything like that has to be approved, and it might even require a permit, which might require involving the city.
Oh, okay. So it could be a little expensive if you try to go too fancy.
It could be, yes.
Okay, and then you have a specific door trim, and then, but of course, all costs are borne by the member.
The member,
okay,
absolutely.
Got it. You guys don't pay for anything.
Well, we do, not for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, not for fancy stuff. Okay.
Any additions are the responsibility of the owner.
Okay, and then we go on with more kinds, so wood, fiberglass, metal, or vinyl clad. So there's something to be said about the composite of the door, but it pretty much you're leaving it wide open.
And absolutely a lot of flexibility there with someone.
That's shocking to me, actually, because you'd think that they would have a very specific standard, but the fact that you are allowing different types of creativity, I think, is really nice for them.
Absolutely, and again, it's meeting the code standards. So as long as they meet those standards, you have more flexibility.
Okay, I love it. And it says here, exterior doors shall only be allowed, of course, in the existing openings.
Exactly.
You can't decide you want to put a door somewhere else.
Well,
I don't like that window. I want that to be a door. That's not acceptable,
No,
right?
you can't do that.
Okay.
That requires a whole lot of permits.
Yes, exactly. Now, here's some great things. You can pick certain colors.
Yes. Yes, yeah, and that's our color scheme right there. And when they do the painting, they go around and ask people which of these color codes that you want for your building to be painted. And so the doors, we want the doors to be as close to matching the color scheme as possible.
Okay, so if you take a look at, let's just say, for example, the one on the left, we've got a sort of a cream colored door. Is that the door? And then what's the red and the other little squares next to them?
That's a good question, Lisa. And that's it's still a different color option.
Oh, okay. So those are like pattern, different kinds.
Yeah,
okay.
those are all
of
different
palettes, I
colors.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Palette,
Well,
that's the word I
palettes.
was
Yeah.
thinking.
So that's actually nice. You can have lots of different choices.
Absolutely. And actually driving down the streets and stuff, it's really nice to see, all of the homes looking pretty much the same. And I guess if you go to any homeowners association, that's what you're going to find.
Well,
is
exactly.
Consistency.
But that might be hard if you only know your number and you can't find your house. It's like, oh wait, I thought that was my house. It looks exactly. It's like having white cars.
Oh,
You try to find your car and they all look the same.
You're trying to get in someone else's car. It's happened to me numerous times.
Yes, I just did that.
But
it was lovely.
the good thing about what we're talking about is the numbers on the manors now are much bigger, so they're easier to see. So you can't get too lost. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
and
good.
then the other thing is everybody has nobody has the same address. So if you're on San Amadeo, you're on San Amadeo.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, you want to make sure. You don't want people to be knocking on somebody else's door. That's for
Exactly.
sure.
Exactly.
Well, this is good information. I like you said, the flexibility. It seems like, I like the fact that you have a situation where the residents can be a little bit more creative rather than, what made you guys kind of do that? Are you getting questions from residents or requests from them?
Sometimes it's driven by request, and sometimes what the committee does is they just review the standards. And when building codes change, they might need to update the standards to meet the building codes.
Okay.
But we have a very, very active, involved Architectural Control and Standards Committee.
Yeah.
And a couple of our new members, Jim Cook especially, is coming in with a lot of knowledge and a lot of enthusiasm and really looking at many of the standards to see how we should be revising them.
And when does this go into effect?
It is on 28-day notice. The board agreed at our last meeting this week, Tuesday, that it's going to be on 28-day notice so that residents can go to the website and make any comments before it comes back to the board at our next meeting for approval.
Okay, and then for them to go to the website, of course, it's the Laguna Woods Village. LagunaWoodsVillage.com, and then they would look under governance, and then they would look under which?
Under Third Mutual.
Under Third Mutual, okay.
And then resolutions.
Resolutions.
And so because it's on 28-day notice, it's in the agenda packet.
Oh, it is, okay.
So there's a lot of information on that in that packet. So just look for the Architecture Control and Standards revision.
Perfect, and they can make comments as they see fit for them.
Absolutely, and then they can call into the board at our next board meeting with their comments, or they can send an email, and the emails will be read at the board meetings.
All right, perfect. And when are your board meetings again?
We meet the third Tuesday of the month. Third Tuesday.
Third and third. That's easy to remember.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Of course, if you have any comments or questions about this, you can always send an email to generalmanager@vmsinc.org, and it will be directed to the appropriate person. We'll be right back.